Hey, fellow YouTubers. Howdy, Ken Coscia here. Just wanted to say hello, share with you what I hope you can see, some of the beautiful fall foliage here in Penwood State Park, here in Farmington Valley, Connecticut. Anyway, just uploaded a different video, but I just wanted to, it's a different perspective. I'm on the trail now going back to my car. Hiked about 40 minutes to the top of the peak. That was a prior video, but you can see completely surrounded here by woods. And it's not quite peak, but we're getting there. Anyway, if you live in New England, you've got your own beautiful view. If you don't, hope this tantalizes you. Anyway, so what are you doing on this October Sunday? Today is a day of rest and preparation, final preparations for tomorrow, where I begin live, virtually live, the immersion of life and intuition system for the Silva method. It's another full house. We're sold out, waiting line. I wish that we were back in person. Anyway, how do you prepare for big events, for activities that are important to you? I love doing the work. Very engaging, takes a lot of emotional, physical energy, and I love it. So how about you? Again, just showing you a little perspective here. Excuse the movement of the camera. What are some of the things you do to prepare for big events, for meetings, for training that you'll be doing, giving, or learning from? And I find that taking it easy, resting, hiking, stretching the muscles, thinking. This park is one of my favorite places. It used to be, maybe even still is, the valley's best kept secret, because on the other side of the road, literally, another side of the mountain, is Ublime Tower, it's the Talcott Mountain State Park, and there it's packed right now. Cars are parked alongside the road. I mean, there are easily 1,000 or more people there hiking the trails. Any time of the year when I come here, it's usually quiet. Today, though, there were more than usual, but still much quieter. And this is where I like to go to think, to prepare, to reflect. It's easy to do a walking meditation in scenery like this, at least for me. You get a chance to really reflect on your values, what's really important, things you want to emphasize, study. And interesting enough, I find if I've left something out or overlooked something, I'll remember now. So, a little takeaway for you. If you're facing challenges, like we all are now, high levels of uncertainty, like we all are now, and you've got to pivot and make some decisions, what your next move will be. For example, back in March, I was literally in the middle of a 10-day training, 4 days with the public, then another 6 days with new instructors, new Silva instructors, when all this just started peaking on the East Coast in the US. And almost overnight, all my business was gone because I predominantly do in-person events. I just came back from Australia, I'm supposed to go to Romania, and so many different countries. So one of the things I had to get really familiar with, although I had some practice, is Zoom. But learn how to use it. I did 1 hour, half hour, but never 4 full days worth, so I spread it out. So I'm just going to pause for a moment. Just some fellow hikers on the trail. Didn't want to disturb them because it's so peaceful here, and here I am talking to a video. But anyway, so it's a wonderful pivot I did. I've converted in our basement, our rec room. Our children are now in their late 30s and one is late 20s. So they're not using anymore, so I've converted it into my virtual classroom. Just got some new lights to improve the lighting. Sound is excellent. We do guided meditations. We do breakout rooms. So to go back to you, what about you? What are some of the pivots? It took time, it took training, it took studying, it took practicing. I didn't just jump in. I rehearsed and practiced and tested all the buttons. From, a guy like myself, people say, oh, it's just click and point. Well, sure, as long as you know what to click and point at. So the takeaway, you go back to the takeaway, is if you're feeling troubled, stressed, pressured, that puts you into survival mode. And that survival mode makes it difficult to think clearly. It makes it almost impossible to strategize or to look at things clearly. And then fear comes into the picture and it distorts everything. And it gives us garbage eyeballs and everything looks negative. And then we begin to lose hope. And if we lose hope, we lose everything. And it just goes on and on and on. Have you been there? It's not fun. I respect you for that. We've all been through that. It's tough. It's not easy. So you got to keep some of the joy. You got to practice some appreciation, practice some gratitude. Look at any small thing that you're happy about. Helps to keep you in a coherent state, mentally, physically, spiritually. Takes the pressure off. And when you take the pressure off, you're more likely to think clearly. You're more likely to have innovative ideas, thoughts. You're more likely to be guided by your inner wisdom. I'm a great believer that I have been very blessed to live a guided life. And we all are when we listen and pay attention. And the point here, the takeaway is if you're stressed, worried, upset, feeling high levels of uncertainty, getting a little more the view, you're not gonna get anything. You got to allow your brain to work properly. You got to get out of that state and create a state of being that is calm, at ease, feeling hopeful, or at least hopeful that somehow, some way you figure things out. In that state, practice it daily. Create a vision of your future. Somehow, some way, we'll figure this out. When you think like that, you're more likely to get, again, innovations, ideas that you can then act on, trust them, act on them. And then you get your feedback. It's called deliberate practice. You get your feedback, okay, I can do more of this. There's a saying, the numbers don't lie, the metrics don't lie. When you look at the feedback, that tells you what more to add, what more to do, what to eliminate. So my friends, this is Ken Coscia. Thank you so much for being part of my community. Thank you so much for your likes, your shares. Thank you so much for just being there and allowing me to share ideas and thoughts. Your time is so precious. I really appreciate it more than you realize. And I love doing this work. And as long as there are people like you who listen and are benefiting, I'll still be here. And I'm just completed 49 years doing this work. And I'll be going into my 50th year. Hard to believe. I started when I was in college. I was 19. And by the way, those who don't know my story, I was flunking out of college. I used what I learned in the Silva method, accelerated learning approach, and I wound up graduating the highest honors. I stopped getting the headaches that were just part of my life without drugs, without meds. I took care of some anger issues, became more patient. And now, decades later, I look back and my wife, Barbara, and I, we've used these tools just to navigate life with a little more grace and ease, to raise 3 independent, really cool young adults who are now raising their own families, who are living a life of purpose and meaning, who I'm very proud to say that they're really good people. We've got them through school. College education here in the U.S. can be very costly, but we did it. So my friends, if I can, you can too. It just takes practice, a little persistence, and of course the right training. Whatever that training might be for you, trust it, work with it. Take care, and thanks so much for being here. So now let me end